All right. Josh, can you tell me a bit about how the past 3 months working with me was for you? Can you start off by saying like where you came in, like how you started?
Well, I started out with in a place which I wasn't totally unhappy with, but I knew I could get more out of myself and out of the business,
Mm,
and I wanted to push myself and see how far I could go. I didn't want to just kind of plateau and be doing the same thing that was semi-fulfilling, but wouldn't necessarily take me to a point in my professional career where I felt like I could take holiday
mm,
easily, or where I felt like I could start a family and take time off,
mm,
with feeling like feeling calm about it and not anxious about it,
right.
and knowing that in the future I really need to have some sort of team around me of some
Mm,
form, and that means growing the business and seeing where I can go professionally and personally. So
right.
that was the starting point for starting to work
Yeah.
with you, and seeing what could be achieved, basically. But
Right.
starting from a very positive point of view. It was
Right.
by no means feeling
Right.
like, oh my god, I'm a failure. And
No, like you were doing great with your business. Like it was up and running, it was successful, money
yeah,
was coming in. It was just a desire, I guess, right? Like you wanted to be challenged and wanted to challenge yourself to really get out everything of how you work as a business owner and really look at that from a different angle with somebody else's help, I guess. To really go from a plateaued kind of personal growth and professional growth to what else is out there and really put
totally.
yourself in that position where you had to really work on this and step up
Yeah.
to the plate. And you did that hard work, really.
And I think an important point on that is that I never learned how to be a businessman. I never
Mm,
learned how to run a business. Like
mm,
everything I just learn as I've gone and learned from hard mistakes.
yeah.
And I think sometimes when you reach a certain point in your professional life, you need that extra little help, that extra push, that extra perspective to help you know that you're on the right track, or help you find those tools that are useful to give a
Mm,
bit of structure, which is what I was looking for, and
right.
give a little bit of focus and direction to where things could go. And I think especially as a one person business as I was, that's incredibly hard to figure out on your own. So
Yes.
having some coaching in that sense is totally invaluable. You can't put a price on that.
Right. Nice. And just looking at what we did together to make it more tangible for people that are watching, where did we start? I think for me there was a combination of two things going on. Like on the one hand, very practical business work, so setting boundaries with clients, notifications, emails, how to respond in the right way, how to do the rating so that you don't take off your pricing and really go lower than you should. Very practical, firm professional communications, as I could put it together, I guess. And on the other hand, very much your identity shift from, as a freelancer going to an agency and hiring people and thinking about how to grow that team and looking into vision and perspective of where the business is going. How do you feel about that first part? Like what changed for you in the practical sense in the business day to day?
Yeah, I mean, in the practical sense, it's a complete it's a complete mindset shift, from thinking of things from like a technician standpoint of like, okay, these are the things I've got to do day to day to fulfill clients' needs, to the entrepreneurial kind of point of view of being like, these are the things I need to do day to day to fulfill my business's needs.
Yes.
And that's the only way to really kind of move forward and break out of that cycle of just fulfilling what the client wants, sending those invoices, going on to the next project, and just going project to project, rather than
Mm,
looking into the future and saying, all right, well, I've got this business, I want to mold it in a certain way, I need to spend that time on it. And I'd
yeah.
never spent I'd never blocked off that time in the week to say, right, I'm going to spend a day on my business every week.
Right.
And practically speaking, like, not only is that a mindset shift, that's like a shift in how my week looks, how
Right.
how
Right.
I arrange my meetings with people, because
Yep.
I've got that golden time where I'm working on my business and nothing else should get in the way of that. And I
Yeah.
know, therefore, that every single week the goals I set are based on those goals for the business and not on the goals of my client,
Yep.
which is how it should be, really.
Yep. Yeah. And it is a complete mindset shift, because you started implementing daily and weekly goals just on the Monday morning, looking
Yep.
at your calendar, first of all, but you also looked at when to go after new business and have that time blocked off every week, and when to work on marketing and getting yourself out there. And those are all the things that you didn't have implemented before. And through that structure, you gain clarity and calm
Yep.
throughout the week, knowing that this is where you do that moment and this is where you do client work, and really structuring that and getting out of the overwhelm, I would say. And that's really funny, because I really want to pull up some of the rating that we did, like a measurement in the beginning and a measurement now, with 3.5 months in between, and you working really hard. And there's so many things, like numbers went up. For instance, like your personal growth went from 5 to 9, but also just looking at the business, the direction in your business, you gave it a 6 before, and now you have a 9, and your productivity went from 6 to 9, and the feeling of being in control where the business is going went from a 6 to an 8. So to name all these things, seeing that you really did the work to make it really like a full-blown business, more than
Yep.
just you individually. And from that point of view, also making sure that indeed you're working on the business, but with that, what you did actually was working on yourself and how
Yep.
you come across and how you deal with clients and how you do everything professionally. And every time we also talked about the old way of doing, like, before I would do this and I would, respond right away, or I would say yes to these kind of things. But now I'm stepping back into that really like business owner role. And from that perspective, making more wise decisions, if I were to say that.
Totally.
Yeah. Super great. Anything in particular that you feel that you have really gained through this process?
Yeah, I think like I've definitely gained personally that feeling on the weekend or in the evenings of just feeling much more chilled out about about
Yeah.
work, and not taking that home with me so much, and not letting things at work get me down so much, because I feel that with that structure in place, with those processes in place, and knowing how to deal a lot better with certain situations, I can just be more relaxed and therefore be nicer with people around me, with my partner,
Yes.
friends, family, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, why work if you're not going to feel fulfilled in your
Exactly.
in your personal life, right?
Yeah.
So to me, that's
Mm.
been super important. Feeling like I don't have to, spill everything out on my girlfriend and stress her out with my work problems, and feeling a
Yeah.
lot more like, hey, wait a sec, like, I've got this, I'm in control,
Exactly.
I know how to deal with this,
Yeah.
and I'll ask my girlfriend how her day was instead.
Yes. And be present with her too, actually like focus
Exactly.
on her. Yeah. Yeah. It's
Exactly.
funny because also you rated your personal free time a 4 before, and I was an 8. So really
Yeah.
seeing that indeed, like, you're not working more hours per se. That's really not
No.
what happened here. You actually started to work smarter, and not just smarter in terms of hours and productivity and efficiency, but rather, what am I actually doing with my time? What's really going on? What is helping me move forward and what is not? And because of that, you did indeed gain more leads, more business, bigger projects, more clarity on which niche you want to focus on. And it's just so much work that you really put into this process. Like, it's
Totally.
immense. Yeah. Yeah.
With clarity and direction, you just end up not procrastinating so much over things
No.
that might have taken twice as long, or you
Yeah.
find processes to, I don't know, send a proposal to a client. You find ways to do that in a more time efficient manner, or ask
Yeah.
more of the right questions at the beginning to not kind of trip up later on. All these kind of things just kind of lend themselves to essentially saving time, and
Yes. Yeah.
and doing things more efficiently.
Yeah.
So
And thus feeling lighter about where the business is going, because you actually see the
totally.
progress day to day, week to week. You actually rate that, you assess that now. And I would like to ask, do you also feel that because of doing all this in your business, do you feel that also mentally you got stronger throughout this process?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm much more confident in how I am with everyone talking about the business, whether it's speaking about the business to family and friends or talking about what I do to potential new clients. I feel like it's much easier to talk about what I do. I feel like it helps people trust in what my business is and what we're doing as well, which I think has definitely lent itself to winning new projects as well, which is really important. So yeah, no, it's made a huge difference in that sense, totally.
Great, awesome. As a last question, how is it working with me every other week? How did you really go through the
Hated it.
sessions?
Worst hour and a half.
Why are we even here today?
No, it's brilliant. I felt very well listened to. Felt like each session was very much tailored to my specific needs and specific circumstances, and we worked on the things that really I'd asked that I to work on, and not things that seemed like I was already okay at, for example. So that was really important, and just generally being chased up on a Monday with a message being like, how's your week going? Yeah, where are the goals? Like, have you reviewed the week? And just kind of those little check-ins to give me those little nudges to remind myself to do those things, because that's super important when you're trying to change habits. Any habit is very hard to change, and sometimes you need that little reminder to keep going. That little kick up the bum, which helps a lot. So yeah, in general, it's been a fantastic experience working with you, Rochelle. Very enjoyable, always very positive, very thoughtful, and yeah, worth every penny. Totally.
Great to hear this. Thank you so much. And I have to say, I'm super proud of where you came from and where you're now, and looking at the rating that you did on, how you started and where you are now. It's just insane to see your growth. And I cannot say it's on me. It's actually on the work you did. Like, honestly, you did a lot of work here, and you really kept on doing it. You never slacked off. And I think that is really part of your success, that you really committed to the full process and committed to, hey, I need to change this, not from a point of view from pain, but rather from, I know there's so much more out there for me. And look where it got you, like more leads, more business, and just feeling so much more at ease with the business in general, and seeing that it is growing into a full agency. And with that, like a very intangible result, but feeling personally like I can really turn off my head and be with family and be with friends and just really chill when I want to chill. And yeah, I think that's so worth that. Yeah. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. No worries.